Hello and welcome to another episode with the McEwen Brothers. This week we discuss sampling of our product, profit and loss and cash flow, social content strategy and branding ideas that we currently have. We hope you guys listen, enjoy, stay around and follow our journey. Hi guys, welcome to this podcast. I tried to record, didn't have record on. This is the way this week started. So, obviously, this week me and Gregor have been had a really good week. We've actually done a lot of progress in terms of where we're at. The key thing I've been going into is our samples. Obviously, for the last week's episode, I was looking into sort of product sample size, different suppliers, and what ones we really want to go down. The key thing I was trying to find out is a bit of background on them. So I was looking into a bit more depth. Who do they supply for? Reputation, reviews, and I actually found it was quite hard. There's limited supply of information out there about each of these companies, and I think because I don't know if it's just because the part of like where they supply from or how things work out there, but it's actually really hard to find tons of reviews on these companies. But the key thing I sort of highlighted was the fact that there was two companies that stood out to me because they specifically do pet supplies. They're all about providing products for your pet. And they've got a wide range of different pets, sort of supply sort of things from your fish to your dog to your cat. They've got a range, but it focuses on that specific area that me and you are looking at, Gregor. So what I then did was obviously from that eliminated 3 of the ones from our list because 2 of them were the 2 ones I looked at. They looked like they had the best supply in terms of reviews. So like when I was looking at reviews and stuff, there's some reviews that people have put down for that product as well, because what you find is a lot of the reviews don't actually specifically say what product. Some of the reviews it's like someone just typing, oh, this was great, and then it's like a blurred out picture and you don't actually know what they've ordered. I found a couple of reviews on specific products. So what I've done is from that decided that these 2 are the 2 main ones that we want to look at. Obviously, me and I've had a discussion this week, and we had a sort of chat about how do we want to actually get supplies, because obviously you can get samples in and you can order 1 or 2 products from that one supplier, and it's going to take the same amount of time as it is when you order 1,000 of the product. It's still going to take 3 to 4 weeks, so a month before we even get our hands on this product. So I thought to say why don't we actually, instead of obviously waiting a month to get 1 or 2 products and then having to wait another month before we order a batch, why don't we actually order a small batch of these products? So do a small, medium, large, get 10 of each. It means when we get these supplies, we can obviously check the quality, see what we think, but it allows us to still sell the product, because no matter what, it'll be a product that we can sell. If some of them are really bad and we don't think that's worth selling, unfortunately that's just going to be a loss for us, and that's something we just have to take in consideration. But the key thing for us is that means in this next 3 to 4 weeks, me and Greg can really set up our social media platforms and create a content strategy that's going to work for us. So we can then, as the product arrives, launch everything and get everything out there so people are able to actually start buying our product. And that allows us to test the market and get us understanding this is going to work. What do we need to fix? What marketing strategy is not working? What is? And it really gives us that leeway, because what will happen is once we get the products and they start selling, we can then get to a point where we order a bigger batch, because then we can prove that the product's selling at a certain level. So this is a key thing we're trying to figure out. Long way away from getting anywhere near that sort of stuff, but I think the great part of it is we've got a product, we know where we're going to sort of supply from, and we're just going to get a quote now for basically 10 of each. And once that quote has came through, obviously haggle as you do. You're never going to take the first price that they give you. Try and get the best price we can. And then once that's done, we will order these supplies, and hopefully they'll be here round about sort of Christmas time. So round about a month away should be Christmas. And once they arrive, we can then obviously launch it and obviously try and sell our best. Probably not the best timing. I think obviously Christmas could have passed by the time we get these products, but this is something that me and Gary will learn and will continue with throughout the time. But what things we have to understand is the profit and loss from each of these products and the costing of it. But this is what Gregor has been working on for the last week. And I actually think he's probably spent quite a lot of time on it. When I saw what he'd done, I was like, oh God. I was like, you've probably spent a bit more time than me. But it's really good, Gregor. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you've been up to? Obviously creating a profit, loss and cash flow template.
Yeah, of course. So Jimmy, you've done a lot of work on the sample research, which is great, and obviously looking forward to actually getting an order in progressing that further. For me, I obviously started the week thinking, okay, I need to set the website up, I need to sort of do the branding, so many things moving around. But I was kind of thinking, we haven't actually looked at the numbers for us in particular. We know there's a market here. We know there's obviously a growing demand for a product like this. And we think obviously we can definitely tap into this. So we want to make sure that the numbers line up to what we're thinking. So what I wanted to do is basically pull in some basic numbers, so kind of inventory cost, delivery cost, kind of what we can expect for these kind of costs, and then work back from our sale price. And then that will give us a sort of gross profit, and then we can factor in other costs such as social media, other marketing activities, maybe flyering, selling through other channels such as Etsy. There's fees involved there. So we just wanted to kind of like map that out with a profit and loss account, and then place it across basically a year's full of sales effectively. Now, obviously, as we start off, we're not going to be selling right off the bat. There's going to be marketing costs involved. There's going to be time for the market to adjust or know that we're in the market and people to buy from us. So basically, I've staged the growth of sales throughout the year, almost like doubling every month, but starting off, for example, two sales in January. So within a 4-week period, 2 sales, right? And then as it moves on, we moved to sort of October and kind of looking at 64 sales as an example. So these are all just speculative, effectively. Now, what I've done within the models I've made on basic Google Sheets, we have a rough estimate of the cost for basically marketing per sale, so CPS. And we've also got a kind of marketing activities cost per sale, so cost per sale effectively on the marketing front. So I factored that in for each sale, and then basically worked out based on our sale price what we're going to be earning per sale. So that's in a profit and loss. But the other factor that we also need to consider, Jamie, which is I guess important as well, any business as well, is kind of cash flow. You could be a profitable business, but you still go out of business because you don't have the cash to fund the next growth stage, right? So we need to fund our stock. And a cash flow allows us to basically monitor that and check that we can actually do that according to our projected sales figures, right? So I worked that out as well, run Jimmy through it on Thursday during the week, and just we had a quick chat through. So basically, obviously, we were looking to maybe order 30 initially. That obviously builds up, and then obviously once we order more as well, ideally we would have a economies of scale benefit, so product price might decrease per unit. So then we can benefit from that. But midway through the year, we might expect to buy or order another lot of product as well, according to projected sales. And that just makes sure that we start off with the right amount at the moment. Looking at £2,000 up front, and then so there's going to be an inventory cost. Can I maybe investing a bit more in social media up front to get the brand name out there? And we're going to have a fixed fee of our e-commerce platform as well to sell the product. So that's kind of roughly about £20 a month as well. So just factoring all those costs in, making sure that our first month we're not losing all our money. And there, with the cash flow, particularly, you can see your balance, but you can also see a net cash flow for the month. So for example, you could be still positive with your closing balance, have a negative cash flow, but as long as the closing balance remains positive, you can still live another day, pay your bills, and pay per product for our marketing effectively. So that was quite a good outline. Basically went through it with Jamie on a call. Jamie was like, "Oh my god, what's this?" But I think it gives a better idea of what were our goals as well. Brings in the goals of sales we want to hit, and also gives us an idea of if we do hit those goals, is that what we want? Like, if we're selling over 50 a month, that's a lot of effort from us. Like, hopefully once it gets up and running, it's just a flywheel, and we just, it's a case of going to the shop and delivering, going to the shop, going to the post office and delivering. But at the same time, it's like, is that worth our effort? So it gives us something to aim for, which I think was quite good. The other side of that is I'll be factoring marketing costs and breaking in them across our Google ad spend, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and we're looking into TikTok as well. So yeah, it's models and it's all speculative, but it gives us a good grounding of what we could expect going forward effectively. So yeah, I did that. Instead of marketing, I did that, but there was other things I did. But Jay, I don't know if did you find that useful? We had a
conversation. I thought it was brilliant. I thought to give us something to use for the next, to be honest, for the next forever long, that we could use as a tracker to just see how we're getting on, and it gives us a good sort of breakdown. It might not have everything in it, but that's something we'll add as it goes. See, when there's other costs that come in, you've made it modular, so stuff can be added, which is great as well. So it's something we hope to probably share with you guys at some point as well. We will probably try to share this on Etsy, and we understand a lot of people use Excel sheets and buy them off like the Etsy's website. So we think, and we'd love to share this once we're sort of obviously up and running, and we've added everything we think is good for you guys to then use it as well.
Basically like a template, right? Yeah. That's a template that somebody can download and use.
Yeah, perfect. And then, so obviously, I then went on to sort of, in the call we've had throughout the week, I also obviously talked about the content strategy and sort of the platform. So one of the key things me and Gregor discussed is obviously having a plan of action. Every business needs a plan. No matter what you're doing, you cannot start a business without having a plan, because you end up lost, you end up doing the wrong thing, or wasting your time doing so many things. So me and Gregor try to create somewhat of a plan together, so we can actually create a structure to where we're going forward and what we want to do. So obviously in the talk show, I mean, you've obviously chatted about where do we want to sell the product. So to start off, the key thing for us is we're going to have a website that's set up, and we're going to obviously sell on Etsy. Once these two are set up and obviously running and hopefully doing well, so hopefully when we're at the 64 or even more sales a month, we would love to obviously branch out and use like somewhere like eBay, and even maybe look into Amazon. That's the sort of steps where we're looking at. But to start off with, we will have a website, and we'll be using Etsy as our main two platforms.
Yeah, so like the goal is to drive traffic to those platforms, but obviously Etsy's its own beast, but ads on Facebook and Google will probably be driving to the website. That's the goal.
Exactly. So then obviously with, as Gregor says there, we're sort of, what platforms are we going to be using? So the key platforms that we're sort of looking at is using Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We understand, everyone watches YouTube. I said this to Gregor, says, how many times in a day do you sit on your phone and you watch a video?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's loads of times of the day you're busy watching YouTube videos. So yeah, I think it's a universal platform that's got a demand, and we can certainly, there's an audience there that we could use. So
yeah,
that's the goal.
So
yeah,
that's the main goal. And then obviously we thought, I had a sort of chat about obviously we want to try and branch out and make sure that we're covering all areas to get us started. So my thought process as well is making use of even local. The idea of trying to get some local places as well. And the key place I thought of was vets, veterinary surgeries. You go into veterinary surgery, there's always pets, there's always dogs and stuff like that. And if we can speak to our local places around us, so I will look at ones in Aberdeen, Gregor will look at ones in Edinburgh, and literally go in, and what we'll do is we'll either have our business cards with a flyer, and on the business card will be like a 20% discount where people can actually go to our website, they'll get a 20% discount code on the card, and they can order one from us. The great thing about this, because it will be hopefully local to us, because if it's local veterinaries, we won't have shipping costs. Me and Gregor can actually just go out and actually deliver a lot of these ones, because they will be fairly local. Obviously, if they are a little bit further and it's an inconvenience us and it's cheaper for us to just actually spend the money on it, we will. But it's an opportunity to make maybe that little bit better of a margin on each product.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good idea. There's loads of other opportunities there as well. Like I was thinking, top of my head is like dog walkers, and I don't know if there's like they sell their own products, but you mean like people who actually in the industry and deal with dogs all the time. You could approach them and be like, look, here's an extra product you can sell. There's the margins you'll receive from a sale, and it's just another route to market. So yeah, there's definitely rooms there. But I think obviously we don't want to spread ourselves too thin initially and kind of focus on seeing if there's a good enough demand here for what we're offering. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's the key thing. And then obviously the last sort of chat with our sort of social media strategy is obviously costings. We're obviously aware that we've got a set budget for where we want to be with getting started. So we've obviously split that up into an equal percentage of where we want to spend our money. And we'll obviously discuss this while we're going through that stage and we're actually using and we're creating our campaigns and we're doing that. We'll discuss that with you guys, obviously the costings of what we're doing as we're going through that. But sort of the next thing, Gregor, is obviously yourself. Which is another thing we've done this week is branding.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to have a quick section. You had to talk about content creation. You had a few ideas around that, which I thought might be worth mentioning.
Okay. Can you...
Remind you? Yes. So Jamie was like, oh, I've got loads of ideas. And he kept battering him off. He's like, okay, so we do Fiverr, we get a video idea from there, we approach local, almost like mini influencers, and we approach them who have dogs, like Instagram accounts, and we, give them the product and let them take photos and use it for the website. And I was like, Jimmy, this is great. This is great stuff. Like, that's definitely ideas we can try. So yeah, not to discount that. So that was good.
No, I know. I think because I was rambling, that I think I had a coffee rush, Gregor, that day, and I just had idea after idea after idea, and I was just like, I need to just say this because you write it down.
Yeah, it was good. So I then wrote it down. So there we go. That's how it works.
Quite a few good ideas. The Fiverr one, I think, is quite a good one. I think Fiverr will be
worth trying. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, but then obviously from there, you obviously went on to branding. You have also, through your work, I'm guessing you got into this platform called Figma. Can you give a bit of context to Figma, and then we'll go around the sort of the branding, because I think Figma is obviously a really good platform that you use, and I for me, it's one that's I've tried. It's hard. It's hard.
I'm kind of in it most days at work, but basically it's a design platform that kind of product teams would use to design their apps or design a website, or kind of, even further than that, you can do logos and all these plugins for it. You can add to it and make basically design related projects. But for us at the moment, I was using it to basically do a bit of logos, using the name that we have for I Track My Dog, and just kind of getting colors together, brand ideas, just so we can start creating an image for what the company would look like online and on social media and on their website. So basically, my starting point here is basically try and find inspiration. Great sources for this is like Pinterest. You can basically search, for example, what I was doing is dog brands, and then that gives you loads of images of people who've thought about dog brands. It could be real life dog brands, or even people who've got ideas and are designers, and they've uploaded their images. Other sources are Dribble and Behance. These are other similar platforms where people upload projects based on your search terms. So for example, again, dog brands, and I was just looking through that, sifting through ideas, literally screenshotting what I liked color-wise and, the icon-wise, copy it into Figma, allows you to basically mess around with different shapes. I then copied out our name, try different fonts, and basically just kind of like create a collection of what I think it could look like. And that's just the idea. It's basically just experimenting with that until we're happy with an idea. And then I'll refine that further so I can export the different assets for social media. So it's the correct size, the correct formatting, and then we can use that for our accounts and the website, basically. So that's what that is effectively as a starting point for creating a brand.
Yeah. So would you recommend it? Does it cost this platform? Is it something that you would recommend to other people to?
I mean, what you could use, there's loads of other things that they're like, free Canvas for free, all these sort of really easy tools. But if you want to take that to a little bit of the next level, there's loads of tutorials online for Figma, and I would recommend that as a free tool to get started. There's a free plan. There are some limitations with the free plan, but I'm not quite sure what they are. But if you're literally just looking to do what I'm doing, copy and pasting a few ideas across, mess around with fonts and designs, crack on. Definitely worthwhile looking at if somebody's starting there. But that's where we're at. So Jimmy, obviously bringing it in, we're still kind of learning. We've done quite a bit of work together, but we're trying to be more honed in and organized with our Notion page. I was kind of like highlighting to you that you want to keep Notion as up to date as possible, and obviously with suppliers coming in and ideas that way, obviously we want to kind of keep that up to date. My question is are you still okay to work with that? Because I know some of the stuff that you've written is all over the place, and I'm kind of like, I need it in a usable format so I can understand it, right?
Yeah, well, let's just give it back context. Gregor's really organised with Notion. Gregor uses Notion all the time. I don't use it that often, so there's an aspect of over time. I think what I'll do is I need to work on myself with using it. I'm happy to still use it. I just need to be spend a bit more time on it. So
you're very much
keep it going.
Okay, you're very much a pen and paper kind of person.
Yeah, very much so. Very much
okay,
so.
Grand.
It's just going to get used to. It's just getting used to using it. And there's an aspect of I need to try and do what you do. Like I see that we're on the call throughout the week. You were like, just quickly moving stuff around. Or tidy. Okay, like that. Yeah, let's tidy this up here. That tidy up there. And I'm like, I have no idea no idea how quick you can do that, because like I would, for what you did, I was like, I would spend a minute or two figuring out how to do it, and then a minute or two
Yeah.
actually doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes
So,
sense. There's a learning curve to it. So yeah, fair
but
enough.
yeah, so I'll get there.
Cool.
The next sort of part was obviously our account setup. So one of the things we've talked about is this weekend we are planning to have everything set up. So we are going to have our platforms with our name ready to go, and they'll be there. They'll have a basic logo on it. They won't be anywhere near what we're wanting them to be at, but it's just the idea of having social media platforms set up with our name, with links. So then if on our Notion we can save everything, and if we want to get to it, we can easily just click, cool, that's us in, and then we can obviously both work on it at the same time. And it also helps with, obviously, our brother is still part of this sort of experience, and we're obviously going to bring him in at a later stage. But if he wants to see what we're up to at the moment, as it's obviously a shared sort of pot of money, what we're going to do is obviously give him the access, so then he can come in and actually be like, okay, they're up to something, this is what they're doing, and either give us feedback and get that sort of aspect as well. So just basically, we're going to have a page on our Notion basically set up, so it makes it simple for us to get in all access to our platforms.
Yeah, I like that. Obviously, Callum has got a part to play in this, and any feedback he has for us is good as well. So even if it's just checking it out, that's good on our part. So yeah, we'll aim to get that set up. Cool.
Perfect. So that's the business. That is where me and Gregor are at with the business. When it comes to this podcast, me and Gregor have been letting it slip, guys, and we're hoping you haven't noticed. We're hoping you haven't actually listened and noticed this, but the name is still McEwen Brothers, isn't it, Gregor?
It is. It is still McKean Brothers, and obviously we've literally before this call, Jamie's like, let's spend a couple of minutes and let's come up with a new name. I'm like, Jimmy, I'm got no creative ideas at the moment for doing that. But at the same time, it's like we do need to think about the direction that we're taking this in. Still McKean Brothers at the moment. I mean, not really fitting what we're doing, but it still is chatting, so I guess there is some relevance there. But do you have any ideas for what's next on that front, Jimmy?
I think hopefully over the next week, so hopefully by next week episode, me and Gregor have either a list of names created that are suitable to what we're trying to go and the direction we want this to go in. So the next steps for us is realistic, Gregor, this week having discussion, having the chats like we have this past week about where we want the podcast to go, because as much as we've got a business, we've also got a podcast to run at the same time. So we really want to try and help both ends because they work together. They do work well together, and it's something that, we've done this for 44 episodes this year, which is crazy. We will hopefully get to the full 52 for the year.
Oh, we will. We will.
But yeah, I think it's something we'll work on.
Yeah, other side of it is just to think approach-wise. We'll discuss about it. We'll discuss it during the week, but just kind of think about what category we want to appear in Spotify and like what search terms people might use, and then kind of like work back from that, and then use examples from those categories. I think would be a good starting point. But it's just ideas at the moment. And
all ideas.
Amazing.
And I think that's been a great update for you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week. Hopefully, we'll have a new name for you.
Yeah, hopefully. If not, we'll definitely share our ideas, and you look forward to catching up next week.
Perfect. Cheers, guys. Bye.